So, first buffs of 10th anniversary. First up, we have Senji Muramasa. Now, I personally thought Sigurd needed the buff more, but Muramasa is way easier to fix, in my opinion. Muramasa has way more going on in this kit, and he never needed like a full rework like I think Sigurd does. And honestly, I think this buff, well, he could definitely use another buff. It really does help him out in why people thought his skills needed a buff in the first place. Not the MP. No, 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 no. His MP is a bigger issue than his first skill only being a one-turn mana burst. I'm like fully committed on this. Like his first, it's fine if he has the one-turn mana burst. I'm honestly fine with it, especially because this recent buff also wants him to be doing mighty chains too. Or not wants him, but really helps if he does it. All right. So base attack just slightly below the midpoint, or what was the midpoint a while ago, 11.5k. HP fairly high to compensate, considering like he doesn't have actual survivability. It's a little surprising that his HP is as high as it is. Probably would have swapped some of this HP for attack. That's just me. Star weight, star gen, normal saber numbers, MP charge 0.59. This was a big pain point. Very commonly he would loop just like above 70. He wouldn't be looping that much higher than that. It has a lot to do with the gains here. However, with the recent buff, not only did he get more MP damage, so he hits overkill quicker, his ramp up is also considerably faster too. So it's always going to be the first time that is going to be the roughest with Muramasa. Try for turn two before you say, okay, yeah, no, I can't do this. Or you'd have to rely on some kind of carding. So only traits to really notice about Living Human, and yeah, no, that's kind of it. Like, he doesn't have any way you're going to get bond up faster with him. Literally no traits you can use. Hit counts: 2 hits on Quick, 3 on Arts, 3 on Buster, 5 hit extra attack. Quick is weak. You're not going to be trying to gen that many stars with him. Your Quick card is literally just to enable the Mighty Chain and make the Buster crit hit really, really hard. If you're doing a Mighty Chain, though, and you get the MP hits 3 enemies, you should, if you do a Mighty Chain, you still should refund 100%. You shouldn't have to worry about hitting the Arts card just for the crit, because it's not that he doesn't refund enough. It's just that in comparison to like Rider Arts loopers, he's so lackluster. But you think Riders have it the easiest when it comes to Arts farming casters, straight up, because it's just how it is. Casters have a 1.2 MP gain modifier, while Lancers have a 1.0. So there's a lot more that goes into it, but it would be better for Muramasa if he was fighting someone like stronger than just trash mobs. Muramasa, especially over Takeru, wants to do crits. So first skill, and why a lot of people thought like this might be something that's buffed up first. And to be fair, with how his ramp up was, I would have preferred that this was 3 turns too. But 3 turns on this, you are asking so goddamn much. Like, this was never going to be a 3-turn buff. And that's why they had to buff Muramasa the way they did. 5-turn cooldown, and you get 50% card buff for all 3 card types, stars, and star weight. They were never going to make this skill 3 turns. Not with it being on a 5-turn cooldown. Now, could they have buffed other skills to maybe have a consistent arts buff? Yeah, but his MP was already doing that, so there's not really that much of a point now, is there? Would you start up faster? Yes. But you already got the ramp up before damage. How much faster do you need? Second skill. ignores invincibility 1 turn, and you get bonus crit damage if the enemy has dodge or invul. So base number is 100% crit damage, lasts for 3 turns, and if the enemy has a dodge, it turns into 200%. 100% starter gen 2 makes it so all of Muramasa's cards are gonna gen stars. He he really didn't have the type of competition like a character like this really needed, because a lot of people really just saw his value as an arts looper, like just spamming his MP. He does have a disgusting amount of utility as a crit DPS. It's kind of just that arts isn't known for crit DPS. Arts use crit to refund MP, not to do damage. But Berserker Cast Story kind of disagrees with that now, doesn't she? But yeah, no, solid skill. Yeah, the crit, like, I think people see the skill mostly as the crit damage. No, sorry, the ignore invincibility. The crit damage definitely comes secondary, but this star gen, you notice this when you notice it. It helps his gameplay a lot. Third skill, 50% battery and blaze. Every time he does a normal attack, he gets charged. Again, exactly why he's like focused more on crit than refund. If each, okay, so like I said, his MP in general refunds about 70%. If you do a full mighty chain, doesn't matter what cards you use, it could be MP Buster and an extra attack, you will get 30 gains, so you will get your full MP back. Muramasa really was built a lot better than some people might give him credit for. Like, these are definitely basic but good skills, and they're nothing like some of the other skills we get. Which, look at Madam President. Look at Madam President's skill set and say, okay, you know what? Maybe characters that people can actually read their skills quickly isn't so bad a thing, right? You show someone Alco's kit and then show someone's Muramasa's kit. Which kit are they gonna understand more? Which one are they gonna understand what's actually going on? Complicated stuff is fun, but you gotta mix it up between people understanding what's going on and people not and having fun. You gotta walk that tightrope. So yeah, like Muramasa, he's a looper that wants to use his cards, and for the longest time, like the HP pools in this game just weren't high enough for characters like him to really pop off. Quick, for instance, would do way better if they threw higher health enemies into the nodes. If they were doing 3-3-3 farming, most quick units don't do 3-3-3 that often. They're doing like 3-1-2 or other things that they can take advantage of crits a little more easily. But yeah, Muramasa, like, if he's unironically under leveled, Muramasa actually does his role more than a like giga hyper invested one. Passive skills: magic resist 17.5%, arts up 10% in his passive. Aesthetics of appreciating the aesthetic. Can't English right now. Appreciating the aesthetics of sword. Party-wide crit damage while he's on the field. Power mod against kings. And then just the normal bond 15 thing. So, appends, definitely mana loading. And I want to say skilled reloading too. I say this especially with any arts loopers. If you're in a CQ and you put Tamamo in there, you want to be spamming your MP as much as possible. Anti-caster, I do want to say, like, I have used him to just like farm neutral casters, and he loops so much better. Especially these days, the nodes aren't just straight 3-3 of the class you're using. A lot of the times they throw in random random mobs of different classes. I'm not saying you should have this like unlocked all the time. Just that if it comes up, you might as well use it. And I think that's why like most characters like 3 of Pens is the sweet spot in my opinion. I feel 3 of Pens is the sweet spot, and then you can go to 120. Because yeah, like this, and this is debatable. Like if a character doesn't do their extra attack, why would you do this? Like this would help you in farming more than this. Again, unless their HP is so high that you actually can do mighty chains, which again, not happening that often. And people also don't like to play crits. They like to turn their brain off and just farm. All right, MP. So, this is the original MP. MP damage up 10% for 3 turns, activates first, remove offensive buffs, defense pierce, and arts up before damage 10%. Now, as time has gone on, they have kind of changed like what effects actually ramp up. 10% card buffs ramping up isn't an actual ramp up. And because they don't nerf down, like they don't do nerfs, they only do buffs in this game, and they make the content harder to compensate. 10% ramp up isn't enough of a buff to warrant ramp up. I'm looking at Ruler Moriarty. As like kind of a guide for like how they're gonna do like ramp up for servants in the future. So 20% MP damage for 1 turn, activated first. He needed ramp up. So they just made it 20%. Now Muramasa had the 3 turns, but it was only 10. So when they buffed it, not only did they give him the other cards, so now like this only lasting for 1 turn is not a factor. If you hold this for the final turn, you will have 110% card buff for any card type, bare minimum. On turn 3, he ramps up to like higher than a full mana burst, and if you get any amount of overcharge, which is how you're supposed to use Muramasa, by the way, you're supposed to use this guy with Castoria. Like I took a long time from using double Castoria in any of my farming, especially when I was using Muramasa on my main account on NA. But he, more than other characters, scales so much better with Castoria. Because what does he not have in his kit? Attack buffs. And what can Castoria, if you're popping her MP a lot of times, what can she give to someone like Muramasa? Attack buffs. So, yeah, if before you weren't popping Castoria MPs, now you're really going to want to do it. Because now his ramp up is like more than double what it was before. Getting to OC3 literally got you what the base number is now. So when you're doing like normal farming, if Castoria is popping 2 times, you're gonna get an extra 10%. But if you manage to get it 3 times, you get another 5 on that. So 35, 20, 20, 75, plus 50, 125 card buff for all card types. Like the flow is definitely there. And then like I wouldn't advise this, but now you really can use this as like the oh shit button. I'm looping just slightly under. Let me pop this just so I can like move on to the next wave. I do think Muramasa needed like more fluency like that. All he had was this 50 battery. And as good as Castoria is with splitting her charge, basically if you weren't using Oberon, you were pretty much shit out of luck if you looped just a little bit under. And for a long time, people value doing using fragments of 2004 over using plug suit Oberon. But now that having Bond 15 actually means something, you'd actually want, like, if your Castoria and Oberon are Bond 15 already, that's plus 50% Bond points for everyone in the party. So yeah, like the new changes just make going for more damage like more. I don't want to say more viable, but it's like more. It's a more acceptable cost. Yeah, it's a more acceptable cost to go higher cost parties over just straight up bond farming, just because like you can get your efficiency significantly higher. Because again, like a bond 15 servant gives you more than any 120% CE can give you, and it would work for everyone in the party no matter what. While a 20% CE affects some servants at a lower amount. It's like you gotta weigh your costs. But yeah, no, this MP buff, very, very nice. It truly is what he needed. Like, I think in the past, I was thinking, like, yeah, no, he needs his card buffs longer. But doing this wasn't the solution. So, yeah, I think the most recent MP buffs, Melt, Babanshi, Moriarty, all these more recent MP buffs are letting them, like, look at characters like Muramasa that at one point were seen as, like, this is the only arts looping saber that can actually do farming with Black Rail. For a long time, that was true. Jason was comparable, but you still need to start from 50. Muramasa was pretty much able to do it, but you need a Castoria, double Castoria. All right, so Ponzi, and then we'll move. Then it is time for me to record Medea. So Bonsi, 30% crit damage, and an on attack buff, 30% chance to drop stars when normal attacking. I don't like that this is 30%. They should have just taken this off and just made it 5 stars. Because then it would have synced up really, really well with Blaze, and every time he does a normal attack, which I think is the point, but it's more like, okay, this is inconsistent as shit, and this is like a reminder of what kind of Bonsies were going on in year 1. Like, I think Gilgamesh has a Bonsi like somewhat similar to this. So yeah, wish they just got rid of that part. And then like then it stacking with Blaze makes a lot of sense. So, in summation, Shiro faces Rejoice, Yorokobe Shonen, because Shiro is doing much, much better. I'm sure Shiro Day is gonna have even more memes about this buff. I'm sure about it. All right. Yeah, time to record the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.